Once you win it, and you've got to go all the way to the end.
Lando into the final corner, his first win of the championship. Lando across the line to win in China.
Because you commit yourself to such a level where there is no compromise. You give everything you have.
The strategy paid off. He had one of the best hits I've ever seen on the medium tires. Nick Dillon wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
Deep in it was the final chicane. Rudy's trying to go for it on the inside. There's still both wheels of water. Megan Wills, old school's gone round.
Oh my word!
And you need more than anything a very clear mind to understand exactly when is the moment to be aggressive, when is the moment to be calculated.
He spun. Brendan's
Oh, wing image! Oh, Brendan's out!
He's down a race! Oh my god, he's down a race!
When you are under a lot of pressure, in a critical moment, in a championship or in a particular race, it's the one that can put together the combination between aggressivity and calculating things that will get the best result.
From Imola to Bahrain, of course. So, yeah, Bahrain typically favored towards the pad drivers, ABS as well, but Imola more favored towards the wheel and being more accurate with the steering wheel. So,
yeah, it's usually definitely considered a wheel track. But obviously, you still gotta do it yourself. If you're good on the pad here, you could still end up right on top, and we'll have to see what these drivers do. And I think towards the end of the outlap, now we have Jay Hinks. He's just coming around Ravazza 1 and 2. Take us for the lap.
Yeah, let's ride on board with the AlphaTauri driver. I don't exactly remember where he finished last week. I think he finished 9th, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see how he does then. The AlphaTauri driver just heading down toward the first chicane here at Imola into turn number 2, I believe. This is 3 and 4. Yeah, 4. Now into the bonus chicane, turn 5 and 6. We'll flick it into the left, use as much curb as possible, slow it down to get it turned in. It doesn't quite do that. A little bit into the gravel there, but across the first sector split, 25.758 for the AlphaTauri. There's someone getting pretty close now. We'll ride throughout this lap, turn 8 up the hill, and then flick it into 9 where Lando Norris valid what could have been a pole position lap in 2020. Now down the hill into Aqua Minerale, one of the most famous corners on the calendar nowadays. Head up, back up the hill through 12 and 13. Now across the middle sector split as we head into this final chicane. 52.779 for the AlphaTauri over the curbs quite nicely. Third gear though to get the rotation, keep it a little bit more stable as well. But now up to 7th, we're going to be hitting 8th gear as we plunge down the hill into the final 2 corners. Turn 17 just there to nick the curve a little bit. Third gear short shift 4th as we head through the final left-hander and then to the line with DRS open. Your pit lane just to the right there as well, and a little dash to the right is 18.818. A little mistake in there as well at the first sector. So we'll see who else is on the lap right now. I think there is a Williams inbound as Jamie Matt has gone up to the top. 17.8 is a hatch. It's going to be speed run. 6.6 in the middle sector. So that's looking pretty decent. Is it going to be provisional pole position? It's a 16-2, so yeah, that's quite clear of what we've seen already so far.
Yeah, it's a very decent starting lap. Just put in the third time with an 18.3. And one of the Aston Martins, that'll be old school, coming around. He has just put in a 119.2. He'll be looking definitely to improve. Ryan B goes second, 6 tenths behind T-Brum. Jordan goes 2 tenths behind his teammate. So the time's flowing in quite nicely. Usually quite a difficult track to get started on. So Ben Scott puts in a 58.6, so he'll be going again. Esteban wasn't there last week, but he's one that I tip to be near the front of the grid, to be honest. And he proves himself right away with a 16.4, very decent banker.
Yeah, it's already a pretty decent lap. Already 2 tenths off of provisional pole position. T-Brum looking strong already. One of the first drivers to get his first lap in there. One of the Haas's. Poldy pulls a 20.4. Only puts himself in P11 for the time being. Connor O'Keefe just coming to the line. Second place finisher last week was the McLaren driver. So we'll see what he can prove to us this week. A few people being looked at are, of course, Connor O'Keefe second place, and Ryan B, who was absolutely dominant. If you looked at the power rankings in the LOE Discord, only Ryan B, Division 4 winner, and NSX Montana Division 1 winner had perfect scores from the last week. So let's see how they can do this time around. Just looking for someone coming to the line. There's a McLaren that spun. That's EBG Damon making his debut here in this particular season. Still, I think he should start his outlap as well. So not the greatest to start the session for Damon there. Ben Scott heading to the line a little slow to the quick corner. He decides to hit the pit lane even though he was, what I think I saw 38 seconds up. So yeah, 58.6, not exactly what you want in your first lap in the session.
No, exactly. In the meantime, the Alpine of Sarunja has gone into third place with a 16.7, very decent time. He's riding on board with Harry Nowak. He's coming down to the line. Runs very close to the wall, gets a 16.8 into P5. Decent showing from him. And I think Connor O'Keefe, I saw, was on the lap, but he must have made a mistake at the chicane. 50.7 would have put him close to T-Brum though in the split time. So definitely, again, one to keep an eye on. Let's see, Swip is now on the lap. He's coming down towards the last 2 corners of Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2. Let's see, is he breaking down in to turn 18 through turn 19 on the power can be quite difficult. He does it quite nicely though. Let's see, running down to the line, the Williams. 18.9 just gets in there. Puts him into P12 for now. We're definitely looking to improve there as well.
Yeah, not the greatest lap from Swip, of course, coming up from Division 5, as we only have 4 divisions now in the League of Europe, as Old School's picked up a 5-second penalty or 5-place grid penalty, my mistake, for illegal blocking. He's pulling over the side, but Jay Hanks is kind of just following him. I'm not really sure what he's doing.
I don't know what's happening here, to be honest.
Yeah. I believe Jay Haynes is a new driver in LOE.
Yeah.
Old School, of course, has been here for many years. He's now moving to wheel, of course, as well. So just taking that adjustment period here in the lower division, but it'll be interesting to see how he can improve. Because, of course, the learning curve is very high with the device. Connor O'Keefe hitting the pit lane. Damon has invalidated. There's a Williams. Is that Ifo or is that Swift? That's Swift.
Yeah, I would just come back into the pits due to his previous lap he set. So see a bit of a no points in the session. I saw Robert went into P11 on an 18.8, just ahead of his teammate by 4 tenths. So that's definitely an interesting pairing. Obviously, the Aston Martins of Robert and Old School, two veterans, you could say. And yeah, have to see if they can get themselves in. As Swip has just retired from the session.
Damon.
I think he tried to go for another lap. Damon as well. Have they collided?
No, it's separate incidents, but they have crashed in the same exact place, just in opposite barriers. So, ooh, that's already 2 people out of qualifying. Of course, full grid, with only, well, now 2 drivers yet to set a lap time. Damon, who just crashed out, and Jav, who's just going out on the track for the first time in this session. But, yeah, that's not the greatest thing ever, but Old School on the lap right now, 24.6, purple first sector.
Well, let's see. I don't know if it's always accurate because the game does like to mess up sometimes. But he's just heading down into Acqua Minerale. Be careful on the brakes now, on the throttle quite nicely. He was feeling very confident ahead of the race. Obviously, Imola, as we said, more of a favourite wheel track than Bahrain usually is. His beloved Bahrain, he wasn't too happy. Yeah, maybe he can do a bit better this week, and he's heading down towards Ravazza 1. Let's see if he can maybe get himself up into the time sheets. It was about 1.4 seconds up, so he's going through Ravazza 2 on the throttle. Let's see where he gets himself in the Aston Martin DRS Open. Across the line into P8 at 1:17.6. Decent lap time, you have to say.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent lap for Old School. First time, well, second race now in LOE on the new wheel. So let's see how pay to win his wheel actually is. The two Alfa Romeos coming across the line to start laps, both Jab and Esteban coming across the line. There's a Ferrari, is that just heading to the line? Not improving, so backing off in that final sector, but now he's not going to have enough DRS to go again. There's someone just behind them. Ryan B, I think, is just starting, of course, closer and winner last week. He's actually going to pull into the pit lane.
T-Brum is 3/10 up. He is coming across the line.
Yeah, T-Brum.
And he's at a 15.9, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's a quick lap.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. 50 was due, well, bits at D3, I'm pretty sure. Wasn't entirely sure what the qualifying was. Division 3 was a little bit busy trying not to die in Division 1, but yeah, T-Brum at 59, that's a really good lap. It's a low 9 as well.
It just caught spinning through turn 2 and 3. Yeah, just that chicane seems to catch a lot of people out so far. We'll have to see if more people. They have to be careful with that. The curbs are very lethal, especially through the right-hander. Turn 3 officially. And yeah, you can easily just skid a bit too much over the curbs and mess up your lap. So Esteban, I don't think is approving, is valid as well. Jav, I think, was invalid as well, so neither of them improving. Once the Alpines came across the line, no improvement shown on the timesheet, so look at Sir Ivo. Don't think he's improving. He had a 19.8, but just a 21.8 won't quite match that for now.
Yeah, that's not going to be good enough for him right now. There's an Aston Martin coming to the line. Is that Robert just starting? So, as well as Jav, who's retired in the pit. I'm not sure why. I don't think we've had any more so far. As Connor O'Keefe crosses the line, it goes on to a 16.1, and that puts him onto the front row of the grid. Still 2/10 to find if he wants the best T-Brum in the session, weaving a little bit as he heads down towards turn 2. Someone else was
Tarunche, yeah.
Yeah, up into P3 on a 16.4, just in front of Esteban there. Only 9,000 separates those two. Very low. That was energetic across the line. It did not improve.
Yeah, it didn't improve. Doesn't seem to be particularly happy as of right now. We'll have to see maybe later on in the session. So we have 5 minutes 45 remaining. And just checking around. Marcy is 3.5 up actually. Let's go on board with him. He's just coming across the line. 1:17.1. Doesn't improve his position, but does improve his time. So maybe towards the end he can pick up a few positions. We'll have to see about that one a bit later on. Ibo just doing another lap. He improved slightly. 19.7 this time. So maybe gets in close towards his teammate actually. Not too far off. 8/10. For him doing that is not too bad. I think no, it was actually Robert, sorry. He's gone up to the 17.4 just ahead of his teammate. So the teammate battle's looking quite close here now.
Yeah, looking pretty decent. Of course, Ryan B and Ariel Jordan so close in the time sheets. Ariel Jordan just going out for another flying lap. There's an Alpine coming to the line, I believe.
Nah, it's just Martin. Let's say we go on board with Jordan for a lap then, as he's just going through turn 2 and 3. And 4's energetics does improve, as said he would. He's now into 16.5, into P5, not too bad, as Jordan heads through the Villeneuve chicane. Just on the throttle, invalidates, as he just runs a little bit wide, gets a little bit lazy with the traction. And just has to back off and maybe try and start again or get into the pits for new tyres. Jay Hinks improves into P12. It's a 17.5, so the times are coming down a little bit. And what I'm expecting to still improve is definitely Polypus.
Yeah, Polypus looking to improve. He can peak quite highly from what I've seen in the past. So, of course, new game, only the second race here in League of Europe on the FM game. So, still a lot to prove for a lot of drivers, and possibly a few moving up a division, possibly into Division 3. Connor O'Keefe looking strong, but he'll still have to put in a strong performance in the race, of course, and also hope for no rain, because it's starting to look a little bit overcast. I don't think we'll get any rain since there's only around 5 minutes left. Not a good 5 minutes, almost 3.5 minutes left here in qualifying. So, Polypus, I believe this is going to be his last run as a judge right now. So there's not much time left here in qualifying, but we can go on board as the only one on the flying lap right now into turn 2, 3, short distance to 5th, and now through 4, get the run flat out that left-hander. So quick through that left-hander. Now into the second chicane, the Villeneuve chicane from 8th down to 7th, and then down to 4th, just to get that turn in, and now we head into Toza. He's 1.5 seconds up, so that will put him on to a 1:19, and that is a big spin for the Haas driver. He's going to have to pull down his tires and go again, but now we can hop up over to Ben Scott. As we head through the first sector, he's 25.115 seconds up. That's usually a first sector that you might see from some drivers, but he's into the 24s in the first sector, so it's looking already pretty decent for the Alpha Tauri. As we head through Imola, just on the edge of the track limits there, as we head into Aqua Minerale, a little bit in the grass that causes the car a little bit of understeer. Third gear just to get the nose in to the bottom of Aqua Minerale there. There's a pass. It's that Polypus, who's lost his front wing and spun. Now into Variante Alta, looks pretty decent, didn't quite carry the speed that he would have wanted to through the second part, but it's purple in the middle sector, at least that's what the track map says. Now down into the road pass, through this right-handed, get on the curb for the braking zone, third gear just to get it in once again, using low gears here is the Alpha Tauri driver, now 4th on the exit, 5th, 6th, 7th as we drive to the line through this right-hander, and it's a 16.6 for Ben Scott, and that's going to put him into P6 as well. So decent lap, but with possible track improvement. I know it's not really a thing on any Cosmetics game, but still a lot of drivers still have runs left to make, and he spun again.
Just happens to be, but he did put in a decent time there, get himself up into the top 10 firmly. So let's see if anyone else can top that. Just everyone heading out for their final run, obviously. And we'll have to see if anyone can improve. The first one to start that is Syringes. He's just heading down towards turn 2 and 3. Let's see if he can get the braking point quite nicely. Quite aggressive on the brake. Looks pretty decent though, I have to say. Follow on quite nicely for the Alpine. Now we're heading down into the Villeneuve chicane. Very difficult to spin. Scott is now retired. To the left there, we could just see that. First sector split, he is just under 10th up. I hope you're looking to improve a little bit more throughout. As Connor O'Keefe is now also, he's retired in the pit lane, and Polypus as well. So a few drivers thinking enough with their times. As Syringe just through Piratella, get it down quite nicely. Now for Aqua Minerale, easy to invalidate or to spin. Bit scrubby on the entry, but looks pretty decent so far. Tries to pick up a bit of touching for the Alpha Tauri. He's just 5 thousandths down on his own time. Through Variante Alta, looked pretty clean there for the Alpine. Down towards Ravazza 1 and 2. Let's see if he can improve. Braking point is very vital here as it goes downhill. It's very easy to lock a tire up there. Now for Ravazza 2, on the throttle he goes. Let's see if he can improve and maybe get himself among T-Brum and Connor O'Keefe. Across the line, 16.2 does improve, but doesn't get an improved position, if you will. So, I'll be happy with that, but might have had a little bit more in there. Ryan B was up in his time, 2.5 tenths, but invalidated. So, that is quite unfortunate to see. Might be able to start another lap, but it will be quite close, and they'll not have a lot of ERS. So, the flag is out now. Marcy's going to come across the line, doesn't improve. T-Brum, let's see if he can improve. It's just slightly up, yes, a 15.7. That's going to be very tough to beat.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to make it as Ryan B is spun at the first chicane. Ariel Jordan across the line. He goes in front of his teammate and into P8 at 16.7. So he improves by a decent amount of time and finds a position as well. Jess Gamer across the line for Ferrari. A little bit wide of the line, but finds 2 tenths. Does the Ferrari driver. Now the 2 Aston Martins, also giving Robertson a little bit of a slipstream, but it doesn't help him too much.
Harry
Ward, purple in the final sector, goes onto the front row. And NL Energetics find some time at the end of the session. Now let's go on board with Jamie Med, who's coming to the pit lane. Anyone else? Jay Hinks is invalidated. Ibo is
Runch has tried, but I don't think he's improved. Nope.
Yeah.
And then we'll just... I think that'll be it for the session. So T-Rum takes pole position by 2/10 over Harry Noir.
Yeah, even that first lap, or that second run in qualifying from T-Rum was going to be very difficult to beat, but and no one managed to do it in the end. A 15.776 for the Haas driver. He's looking very strong if he can keep it on the track in the race. Harry Noir on the front row as well. The only other driver to dip into the 15s, and then it's Connor O'Keefe and All Energetics who will share the second row. So Red Bull looking pretty good this week. They didn't have a strong showing last time out, but they're looking already stronger here in Imola. Saronje Esteban on the third row. Ben Scott, who crashed out earlier, and Ariel Jordan besting his teammate, which I'm sure many people did not expect coming into this weekend.
Yeah, it's a very peculiar one, but it does show that on one track you can be good, and on another you can maybe be a bit further down. He may have had some time in there, but just invalidate a few of his times, so it's not judged too quickly. But running to the rest of the grid, he's in P9, Ryan B, and then Jamie Met is just gonna close off that top 10. Then it's Marcy and Robert on the 6th row, Jay Hinks, and originally old school, but he's got a 5 grid penalty. It's going to be Jess in 14th, Swip and Ibo in 15th, 16th, and Poltopus in 17th, and then without the time, Damon in 18th. Old school's going to be in 19th, and finishing off the grid will be Ariel Jav, who's not set a time either.
Yeah, not sure why Jav did not set a time here in qualifying. He went out on track and then went to the pit lane and retired, so not entirely sure. Of course, we saw Damon crash on stream, just exiting that first chicane. So, yeah, it's looking quite interesting as we head into the race. So, what do we think is going to be strategy? Is it going to be hards, or are we going to see a few mediums in there?
I think we'll definitely see a few mediums in there. It does look a bit overcast. I'm not sure. Few hards, and also at the back on softs. So yeah, Connor O'Keefe, Steban, Jay Hinks, and Jess Gamer in 3rd, 6th, and 13th and 14th respectively. They're starting on the hardest compound of tires, and the rest is all medium. So it'll be interesting to see how that will develop. Normally, I'd say on a completely clean race, a hard medium would be the quickest strategy, but it's Division 4. I have to say, I don't think it's going to be completely without any accidents, so gambling on that medium is not a bad choice in my opinion.
Yeah, just taking a quick look into the Division 4 chat, I have seen a few words of rain, possibly, so that might explain why so many people are on the medium tires, because in our own testing, the mediums last 10 to 12 laps, but they're only really good for 8 and maybe 6 before they start overheating, especially if your tire pressure is quite high relatively. But also, the mediums aren't even that much faster than the hards if you're comfortable and can get that hardest compound warmed up and working. So we'll see how the strategies differ and when, possibly, that rain might come. So of course, both drivers on the front row are on the medium compound tires, and Energetics and Saronje on the mediums, and then it's P7 all the way down to P12 on the mediums as well. And Swip, Ibo, Polypole's Damon on the mediums, and then Javin last on the mediums, and of course Old School, as you mentioned already. On the soft compound tires, just looking to make up some of those positions, and I think he might just, because those soft tires warm up quite quickly.
Yeah, they will definitely warm up quickly. Obviously, during the formation lap, it's quite difficult to get the tires up to temps, especially on the hards. So, I have to see if these drivers have done a decent job of that. So just lining up. Obviously, I have to do it manually this game, as probably last week was mentioned as well. That can make a little bit of a difference towards the start of the grid. As Harry Noir, he just saw getting it wrong, getting too far up, and he gets disqualified. So, to see.
Yeah, Ben Scott, Harry Noir, both getting disqualified from the formation lap. That means they just get put further back in the grid. Old School, Damon, Ivo, Swift as well. Just going a little bit too far past that yellow line. But now we'll get to the race start. T-Brum on pole position as we have 4, 5 red lights here in Imola. It's round number 2 of the League of Europe for division number 4. T-Brum moving all over to the right-hand side to cover up Harry Noir. He gets a decent start. Connor O'Keefe also getting a pretty decent start on those hard compound tires. Ben Scott, Energetics, and Sironji going side by side, but into turn 1, T-Brum and Harry Noir. Harry Noir just has to back out just a little bit. He has to cut the corner. There's an Alpine in the gravel. There's a McLaren in second place now as Connor O'Keefe on the hards has gotten them fired up and working very, very well. Harry Noir falls down to third place. Ben Scott in 5th. Esteban and Sironji 6th, 7th. Ryan B keeping his 8th place, but Ariel Jordan must have had an awful start because he's down to 11th from 8th place, and it seems that the leaders have kind of made their way through. Jordan losing another place, but Damon is already up to 12th from 18th.
Yeah, great start for the McLaren there, and he's looking at the 11th position of Jordan. Just can't get it done into Piratella. Has to back out of it. And yeah, Ben Scott was one that got a great start from the grid. From 7th all the way to 5th, he got and just got pushed out a little bit into the first chicane as Damon now does get past Jamie Met and Jordan, so most of them must have made a mistake. The McLaren is through and has gained 8 positions on the opening lap. Very good stuff for the McLaren. Let's see how he progresses himself forwards. Sironji just looking onto the back of Esteban through Ravata, but can't quite fold a move into there and just heading through. T-Brum, fastest lap of the race obviously, and Connor O'Keefe is just following through, not too big of a gap all round as Jay Hinks is down into the pits. Must have had damage as he is on the hard side, don't expect him to pit naturally on lap 1. Jordan is getting through on Jamie Met for P11, Jamie Met trying to find back, has to back out of that one, and Jordan is back up to P11.
Yeah, Jess and Robertson, Robertson trying to make a move on Jess, just not able to get side by side with the Ferrari driver down there for 16th position. Sironji and Esteban getting pretty close as Ryan B starting to get onto the back of these guys. He's found a decent gap as Damon makes his way past Marcy, who was flagged out, and Robertson spun down at the Villeneuve chicane. He's off into the gravel there on the exit, so he's going to be going all the way down to 19th, basically last, but of course he had to pit for his wing damage. And now Damon, who crashed in qualifying, let's not forget, and started 18th, is already up to the 9th and has, doubled or halved the starting position. It's only lap 2 of 32.
Yeah, very good start. Yeah, fortunate to see Marcy locked out. Let's hope he can make his way back in as Sironji is now looking at the move at Esteban again, but just can't find his way through the Alfa Romeo. Jordan's making his way past, and Polipus is getting through on the Ferrari of Jamie Met, so Jamie Met falling back just a little bit. T-Brum and Connor O'Keefe seem to have broken apart a little bit from the rest of the grid. Harry Noir following on 1.3 seconds of the McLaren. See if Sironji can finally get a move done. Not quite. So Jav is now into the pits. I think he must have had wing damage as well.
Yeah, unfortunate to see that for Jav, because he always seems to get a little bit unlucky, Damon. And that is Damon already off into the gravel, down to P15, just in behind Swift, and that first chicane can be volatile, and you saw already seen at 18th to 9th, and back down to 15th, and now he has all that ground to remake back up. He's going to be hoping for a safe start later, he's going to be hoping for a safe start, let's just put it that way. Polipos and Marcy, Polipos making his way past the AI car of Marcy, Sironji and Esteban getting close into Aqua Minerale, but the Alpine can't quite find enough to make his way past the Alfa Romeo. Both of them looking kind of low on ERSs. Sironji just closing up to the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo once again as it heads through Variante Alta, but already low on ERS. And Damon and Swift. Damon already making overtakes once again to try and get back up the grid into Variante Alta. That's the overtakes is. Marcy, who's gotten back into the lobby, hasn't quite gotten back into his car yet, loses another position to Jamie, but now with ERS enabled, see what happens at the front. I know Jordan and Polipos are going to be close together, but ERS right up the front, so nothing's going to be happening. Polipos onto the back of the Mercedes, a half overtaking the Mercedes down into turn 2, not something you see every day. A little bit of a squeeze from Polipos as Jordan almost goes off into the gravel, and Ben Scott is spun, and an Alpine is spun as well. Sironji into the gravel as well.
A lot of drivers being called out by that first chicane, Tamburello, and yeah, it's showing that those curves are very they're very much vital to avoid usually. But yeah, a few drivers, that's Saronje and Ben Scott now getting called out, and shame for the both of them because they were quite far up. But does promote someone like Polopus, who's made up 10th position, gone a bit under the radar, but now with a few mistakes, he is up there in P7 now. And he'll be looking to chase down Ryan B. Be quite a way down, 3.3 seconds between them two. Meanwhile, T-Brum and Conor O'Keefe have just driven away from the rest of the pack so far, which is led by the Ripples.
Yeah, Harry Noir and Energetics just can't quite keep with the pace at the top. T-Brum looking very strong here in Imola, pole position by 0.2 of a second, already leading on those medium tires. But Conor O'Keefe looking just a little bit better. Of course, third row of the grid, an amazing start from the McLaren driver. And now he's latched on the DRS of the Haas in front. And unless he makes a really big mistake, I don't think he'll be letting go of it anytime soon. And the hard to medium strategy usually is the favorite strategy here at Imola. Damon on old school down to turn 1. Knows that Damon seems to be faster, and those soft tires are going to be dying quite quickly, I would imagine. He's already made his way up to P12. He was probably hoping for safety cars. Conor O'Keefe has spun those hard tires. He had them what looked to be working pretty well, but he spun really late. I'm not sure how he's ended up there. Out of the Villeneuve chicane, those rear tires are still hot. He has a little bit of a snap heading through Toza, and now he's going to lose another position or two. He still has more, an entire train of cars behind him. Jamie, Marcy, Damon, now old school as well, and Saronje just on the back of this as well. So he's going to have a long road ahead of him, unless he can get those tests under control. Let's watch through Aquaman Rally, Ryan B and Esteban. As Ryan B makes his way past Esteban, you kind of saw that one coming. Ryan B was just latched onto the back of that. Alfa Romeo, and Esteban making a little bit of a mistake. So maybe with the cooler temperatures, those hard tires just not able to fire up a little bit.
I don't think it's a case of cold temperatures. It's just Conor O'Keefe just spun a little bit, and that may have not helped him too much. And obviously Ryan B, guy, he's getting through on Steban, and yeah, up to P4, and now behind the Red Bull. See if he can challenge them a little bit. Although Energetics does still have full tank of ERS, so it'll be quite difficult to do. Syringe is getting past Old School now as well. He's dropping further back down the grid now for the Aston Martin. So let's see if Old School maybe started on softs. Maybe his philosophy was that the rain was going to come down soon. But I don't see much sign of it. It's a bit overcast, but not too much else. So Conor O'Keefe is just behind the Mercedes of Ariel Jordan. Just can't seem to find a way through just for now.
Yeah, mentioning the rain, if anything, it looks like it's getting brighter out on track, especially towards towards the back end of the circuit, towards Toza, of course. So yeah, I'm not really sure where this rain gamble was. So maybe if more people start on the hard, Conor O'Keefe, of course, was doing really good until he had that spin. Ariel Jordan with not the greatest run out of Aquaman Rally. The McLaren driver is going to move to the inside as we head towards Variante Alta, and Ariel Jordan decides to just get out of the way for the time being. He's going to have that DRS down towards the first corners. He'll flag, that's Jab, who spun and caused a full safety car.
Yeah, full course caution. That's quite particularly interesting.
Harry Noir and Energetic should get here.
One of them has, Harry Noir is, yeah. Ryan B is in as well. Be interesting to see what they go on to, because I feel if that rain is anytime soon, but I don't think it is. Ryan B has gone onto the hards, Harry Noir has gone onto the hards, so the rain I don't think is coming very soon. There's a lot of drivers towards the back of the grid and now coming in as well. Marcy, Jordan, Sarunche, Old School, and Ibo and Robert as well. That's yeah, that is a bit of a shame for T-Brum, because he had a good lead and was pulling away. But now everyone has caught back up to him, so it'll be interesting to see what happens now.
Yeah, it's kind of a double whammy for T-Brum. He's missed the pit lane. It's just he's missed the pit lane.
Oh, I've just caught Harry Noir. I was on board with Harry Noir on cold tires, and he is spun and lost his front wing out of Tamburello.
Yeah, that's a problem. For him, anyways. For the Red Bull strategy, of course, as well. So they split strategy. And Harry Noir goes and puts his Red Bull into a wall. So that's not exactly what you want to see. Now Marcy's going to be stuck behind him as well. So, yeah. But just before Harry Noir put his Red Bull into a barrier, I was saying, it's a double whammy for T-Brum because he's missed the pit lane, and then since the pit lane is so long, the safety car came out in front of him, so he won't be able to, he'll be able to pit, but he'll lose quite a few positions because Ryan B, well, not Harry Noir anymore, but I would say Marcy as well, but even now, they aren't going to be able to catch up. So, T-Brum Energetics, that's the band fully pulled. Connor O'Keefe, Jamie, Damon Swift, Jess, yet to pit in this race up the front, and no one decides to. I'm kind of surprised that the medium runners decided not to.
Yeah, that's quite surprising. As Ibo has picked up a first second time penalty under the safety car, just driving behind Old School. Yeah, that's quite interesting, but maybe they think track position is a bit more important, as we do think it is right now. So Heinenmark predictably goes into the pits and gonna change the tires. Let's see where he goes on to actually, because we'll go back onto the mediums, which he's driven up for a good 6-7 laps. So yeah, that won't be ideal for him, I guess, but gonna have to see if he can make his way back up. He's down into 17th, maybe 18th now.
Yeah, it's not going to be great for Harry Noir. That mistake really has killed him because without the possibility of rain here, he's really thrown himself into a pretty strong position. He would have been, what, net P1, I believe, T-Brum and Energetics not pitting. So, yeah, he would have really put himself into a good position. Of course, he would have had to make his way through the traffic, but those medium runners would be pitting soon as it was fun at Toza. Medium runners would have been pitting soon, and those hard runners were going to be struggling for grip and for the first set of hards and lower fuel. You never know what could have been put down. Also, kind of out of the window for Harry Noir, down to the back of the grid. 18th, Will J. Haynes and Jab behind him. So we'll have to see what happens now. I believe we'll get going on the next lap, on lap 9, going on to 10. So, what does it look like so far? Having any predictions going further on into this race? Because it looks like the chance of rain has surely gone almost.
I don't know. It might be later in the race where it drops. In the Codemaster games, it can drop quite quickly and change quite quickly. So we don't really know if there is gonna be anything. But if there's nothing and no big accidents happen, I still think T-Brum has a really good chance of winning it. It's just that he's not on the preferred strategy, I'd say, right now. And the preferred strategy is currently in the hands of Ryan B, essentially, I'd say. But then again, you have to see whether he can, make his way through the traffic and keep that pace up that T-Brum showed in the first half of the race already, in the first quarter. So Harry Noir has pitted back onto the hards now. Not too surprising, to be honest. Another one to keep an eye on, I think, is Old School, because he's still only one to pit it onto mediums, and Ben Scott obviously pitted a bit earlier onto softs. So they might try and gain some positions early on after the restart, because those hards will be quite difficult to warm up, I imagine.
Yeah, the hards are going to be difficult to warm up, as we saw in many of the other divisions as well. You can just barely get them into their temperature window, around 80 degrees Celsius, on the safety car restart. So everybody will be tiptoeing of sorts around the circuit, just looking for a little bit of temperature, looking for a little bit of full pace racing, just to get that temperature that is needed into those tires. Harry Noir, let's see, he hasn't been to that turn 1. Let's see how he goes through toes, a little bit wide of the apex, but I'm sure he's not going to be pushing more. Cold tires, and of course under the safety car series, so no real reason to be pushing. But Jay Hanks has caught up to the back of the train now, and safety car is going to be in this lap. Of course, it's done. It's 3 laps. And that is the most that it can do on the F1 game. So T-Brum's going to lead us back racing. Energetic, Esteban, Pulley Pulls, and Connor O'Keefe, of course. I think Connor O'Keefe, if anything, or maybe even Damon, would be the 2 to look out here for, if not T-Brum.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and Pulley Pulls maybe as well. Just all these guys are pretty quick towards the front, you have to say. Let's see. So Energetic is keeping plenty of distance here, which is more than good to see. Don't want to be getting 5-second penalties, as T-Brum has gone now out of Ravazza 1. Bit of a snap through 2, but just gets on the power, and he has a good gap to Energetics. Let's see who's been sleeping on the restart. I think Jamie Mitt might be one that's under pressure, as Damon is just going to get through quite easily. Yeah, he is through already, down towards turn 1 and 2 now. Ryan B is looking at Jess towards the inside, bit of a late lunge. Let's see, can he make it through? Yes, he can make it through. Gets past the Ferrari then, as Ibo is just dropping out of the field a little bit. send it to P19. Mars is now looking at James just as well, sorry. Yeah, Ben Scott is getting past Old School, who's not at the greatest restart. Marcy towards the outside of Jess and get through quite easily as well. He's into P10 following Ryan B through.
Yeah, Robertson losing quite a few positions down at the back as the field heads through Toza, already splitting off from the field just a little bit. Jordan making his way past Jess on those old hard tires, really just dropping like a stone through the field as Connor O'Keefe holding pulls. Damon holding pulls. That holding pulls out of the race. I didn't quite catch exactly what happened. There's going to be yellow flags. It's going to be a full course safety car.
Safe there.
Yeah, I'd imagine this would be the time to pit for most drivers, unless you're on that hard, unless you're on the hard tires. That's the then kind of just have to stick it out, or just pit for medium.
I guess
see
so.
what happens. You could go one of two ways, really. But T-Brum's in, Energetic's in, Esteban's in, Connor O'Keefe in. I'd imagine everybody's going to be in. I didn't quite catch what happened there with between the two McLarens and the Haas of Holy Pools. It looked like Connor O'Keefe got through. Damon looked to follow him. Holy Pools just moved over a little bit to the left, or Damon over to the right. But either way, Holy Pools out of this race. The safety car has been caused, and Damon has to stack behind his teammate now to get onto that hard tire.
Yeah, as you said, I think what happened is that Polipos has made a mistake. Connor O'Keefe got through in the exit of Acre Minerale, so I've seen a few tire options different, so I'll get onto that later. But yeah, that happened, and then Damon tried to make his way through, and I don't think Polipos quite realised that. Yeah, another McLaren alongside, he's now left the session, and that just sends him into the front tire of Damon, and the rear tire of Polipos collided, and yeah, that was the result we saw, I think. But this makes for quite an interesting dynamic, because the guys who pitted on the first safety car have now got quite a big advantage at track position. You see someone like Jay Hings, who was at the back of the grid, he's now up into P6. Same with Harry Noir, who was basically at the back, he's into P7. So I think the guys, Ryan B, Marcy, Jordan, all the way down to Ibo essentially, they've made the good strategy call here.
Yeah, I think they've made the correct strategy call, pitting under that first safety car. So Ryan B from, I believe, 9th on the grid, didn't look like he had the best pace in qualifying, but he managed to get it well in front of his teammate in that first little section of the race, and now he's found himself, well, in P1 as a Mercedes. Marcy 2nd, Jordan 3rd, Cerruche 4th, and then Old School in 5th. On the medium compounded tires, so looking to throw a spanner into the works, as Old School always is, and always has been. Jay Hings in 6th, Harry Noir in 7th, Robert Stum and Ibo in 8th and 9th, and then we have ourselves T-Brum on the fresh cards, the freshest out of basically everybody in the field, of course, but everybody in front of them, the tire advantage isn't going to be too much for everybody. 10th and forward, T-Brum, fresh, energetic, fresh as well. Esteban, Connor O'Keefe forced onto the mediums really because they don't want to go onto the soft. And of course, in F1 2022, you only get one set of hard and one set of medium tires for the entire weekend. So that's qualifying and the race. And then Jamie Matt on the hard, Swip on the softs. Interestingly enough, the only driver on the softs right now is Damon. He dropped many positions because of that double stack with Connor O'Keefe on the hard in 16th, and then Jeff, the fence has Jab on the medium hard, and Jab very well medium in the back.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see. Obviously, Steban and Connor O'Keefe are forced into the mediums. It'll be very, very difficult to make those to the end. Don't think that's going to happen. Connor O'Keefe is driving very close behind Steban there in the safety car. Bit interesting to see, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can make their way through, A, that, and B, if they can make the tires last in any sort of way, or they're going to be forced to the softs at the end. We'll have to see whether that's going to be the case for them, or they just have to stick it out and hope maybe for a safety car later on, as the safety car is going to go in this lap for the second time. Ryan B will be leading the grid right now. We'll have to see where he restarts. And as T-Brum, he went out of Revetsa 1. We'll have to see if he can catch them off a little bit better. We'll have to see.
Yeah, drivers to be looking out for on the safety car restart. Swift and Esteban, Connor O'Keefe as well. I'm not sure if we'll see too much from Old School, but he is up there and in the mix really on those fresher medium tires. But we'll ride on board with Ryan B out of Rivets 1, heading through Rivets 2, picking up the speed just a little bit. He waits to go out of the final corner. He's still accelerating. He hits 100 miles an hour and he punches it with the ERS as they head down through.
Oh, Sarunch is awake.
Yeah, Sarunja has made a really good restart. They're closing onto the back of Marcy. He's trying to box in the Mercedes. They're trying to keep an Alpine 2-3 for the time being with the Mercedes just backs out into turn 2, and I think that's the smartest decision. Possibly getting a switch back into that chicane, but I don't think it's going to happen. Energetics and Ibbo. Ibbo falls down the order, causing chaos. Esteban almost spinning and losing many positions there, but he's up to 11th. Ibbo and Connor O'Keefe just gonna have to stay behind as Ibbo goes into the gravel, and yeah, that's gonna be many positions lost there for Ibbo. Damon looking around the outside of Swip, even though Swip's on the softs, Damon's on the meat, or on the hards even. And now with the run with Swip up towards, well, I guess that's not really gonna work. Damon's just gonna keep the position for the time being, so he's got his tires fired up very nicely. T-Brom has had the pace advantage for most of the day.
Oh, he's gonna get the exit.
Robertson making a little bit of a mistake, not having the front brakes in check as they headed into the Aquaman rally, and he's going to be into P9 as well. Energetics was up his inside. Robertson gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corner. Energetics kind of forced that one. I don't think that one was really necessary, but he's trying to...
And now Steven goes through.
Yeah, Steven looking to the inside. It's going to be double over, take the Alfa Romeo up the inside. There's a McLaren up the inside now as well. Connor O'Keefe gets that move done at Energetics as well. So Energetics goes from trying to make one position to losing two. As Robertson into the gravel as well. He's going to be down to the back, but now just looking for the people we were looking for earlier. Steven and Connor O'Keefe to 9th and 10th. T-Brum up to 8th, and Swip hasn't really gained many positions.
Oh!
Flag, who is that? That's
Marcy is spun. Marcy is spun. He was such a good position, but he's now dropped down the field completely. That's going to be a shame to see. He was close to Steve. I don't know if anything happened there. As Energetics and Damon are close together. Jamie Met involved as well, so a lot of action currently out on track. So Ben Scott is now looking for a move on the Ferrari as well. Let's see if he can get a better exit as he gets on the power and gets down the inside. Let's see, can he make this one stick? I think he can. The AlphaTauri later on the brakes into Piratella and is through into P12. Decent move there for Ben Scott. He'll be trying to follow through the light of Energetics and Damon after his earlier spin. The safety cars have brought him back into a decent position. I'll have to see if he can make his way through, as Damon was looking towards a move into the very end to Alpha chicane, but not quite getting there. Saruncha
for the lead. Ryan B just keeps in position for the time being. DRS is going to be enabled on this lap, but they won't be able to use it because they had it across the DRS protection point with DRS active. Saruncha just moving over to the left-hand side. He's not going to stay in the slipstream because he wants to wait for that next lap. Connor O'Keefe, fastest lap of the race, is onto the back of the rest of the drivers in front of him. Harry Noir and Jay possibly around the outside. He looks for it. It's not quite going to happen. Looking for a switchback, but Jay Hing's so slow, parking the bus through the first few corners there. Jab on Jess, Swip on Jamie. They both go wide though. There's moves all over the field. Steven and Connor O'Keefe getting close together. Of course, this meeting is going to be really good. The two medium runners are fighting now into toes of the Haas. Looks the that's Connor O'Keefe and Steven. The Alfa Romeo just turning in a little bit, giving no regard, no space at all for the McLaren driver there.
Yeah, I have to say that was quite a bit of lack of respect, I have to say, but Damon and Energetics are going side by side through into Piratella, and I think Damon just about got through there. Good move by the McLaren. So a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but I think it was all fine rather than not, and he's trying to follow it through his teammate now. As Energetics has made another mistake. Ben Scott is now through. There's a bit of an incident towards the back. I think Jamie Met is spun, so he's trying to get his car turned around, and Chaff is around as well. So both of those drivers just not enjoying their time right now, as Robert is getting through on the Ferrari now as well. The top two, sort of top three, is broken away. Jordan's kind of in the middle of nowhere, as Old School leads the train for P4, and I think we'll see a few moves happening as T-Brum is now onto the back of Harry Noir. I think towards the lead. Is there anything happening? Sarunja, I don't think so. He's sticking in behind. T-Brum can't quite get past the Red Bull. The Red Bull seems to have a bit more straight line speed. The T-Brum has used up all of his ERS basically already. He's not getting through. Energetics is getting through on Ben Scott, still side by side through turn 2 and 3. Great respect given by both of them, I have to say. Ben Scott stays ahead. T-Brum's now getting through on Harry Noir. Then it's turn 4 in the field of Hampshire chicane. As there's a lot of collisions, as Steven and Harry Noir are both into the grass.
Yeah, Harry Noir and Steven making contact. Harry Noir.
Listen, another safety car.
yeah, safety car's out. So I believe Steve Van has lost his front wing, so he's going to have to pit. Damon and Connor O'Keefe up to 7th and 8th, the two McLarens, and I must say, what a move by Damon around the outside of Puritel on someone, on someone who has the same tires as you. But what a move there by Damon. On the last lap, T-Brum up to 6th. He hasn't really gotten away how I thought he might. He's made his way kind of through the traffic, but also these drivers around and making mistakes, and that's really the only way he's gotten through. But other drivers have been making moves and forcing their way up the order, and now we can look, I think Saronji possibly just missing an opportunity. He could have gone for it on that last start, but Ryan B has quite a considerable amount of gear.
Let's see if they pit.
But yeah, I don't think, well, unless...
I think Old School might pit. Nope, he's staying out. Connor O'Keefe is faking it for a little bit there, trying to catch someone out. Steve-Van is going in. That's an interesting one. Yeah, B wing damage A and B also those mediums will be tough to make towards the end anyway. Because that he was on those tires. Harry Noir, he's lost his front wing as well, so he's gonna go in. And Jaff at the back, I guess he lost his front wing in the accident as well. Robert just going in. So seen a few drivers going in. T-Ban is on the softs. Interesting choice, I have to say. Jaff is going to go onto softs as well. Harry Noir is onto softs. So a lot quicker guys on the softs towards the back. Let's see if they can make their way through.
Yeah, I think it's more not necessarily that they want to go on the softs, more a lack of other tires to go on to, really. Because they're at this rate, everyone's going to have worn mediums, everyone's going to have worn hards. So the only tires really left, you have those 4 sets of softs from qualifying. Not that you get access to all 4 of them, but you still have 1, maybe 2 sets of softs available to you in the race. But after all of whatever that was, we have a safety car. So Ryan B leads Saronji, who leads Jordan, who leads Old School. Old School not quite able to keep the pace of the 3 drivers in front of him, but I think that might just be down to his tires as well, not doing what they or what he wants, or not being able to get what he wants out of them. Jay Hings in 5th. That's really the only barrier that's keeping T-Brum from getting back up onto the podium places out on track. Connor O'Keefe on the mediums. The safety car is going to help everybody who is on the mediums right now, being Jess and Connor O'Keefe and even Old School, but there's no way he gets close to the end. If we're being realistic, Damon in P8 on the hard tires, looking pretty good. He'll look to have the pace as long as he can keep it on track, and I think he could find himself in the top 5 position here if he plays his cards right.
Definitely think he can. I think it's basically a race between guys like T-Brum, Connor O'Keefe and Damon. If they can make their way up to maybe this, like Ryan B and Saronji have still shown pace, definitely. I think the quickest guys today have been the McLarens and T-Brum. I have to see if they can get up there and maybe fight those guys for the podium positions. And yeah, Old School and Jay Hings are the 2 that stand in between that bit. And I have to mention Ben Scott as well. I think he could be up there. Same with Energetics, so I'll have to see. And it'll be interesting to see, as I mentioned before, T-Ban and Harry Noir, they're on softs. They've stayed out on softs as well. They haven't gone back into pit, which sometimes you can see. So they're really going to give it a shot. Whether they can make the softs somewhat to use, they will be very good at the racer, so watch out for those guys. Because that's the only reason I think you would pit at this point.
Yeah,
it could work, but they're going to be really bad towards the end if he is trying to get that. As Jamie is fed into the pit lane, I think he's trying to get back onto a set of softs, get them the freshest possible, but that's a bit unfortunate to see for the Ferrari, and it'll decrease his chance of the points. Yeah, the interesting strategy by Energetics. I'm quite confused by that.
I mean, it's a gamble. Red Bull has already split their strategies, and it hasn't really gone, or well, they split their strategies earlier in the race, and it really hasn't gone their way. And another interesting strategy choice here from Energetics. But we'll see how it pans out. A lot of drivers on soft still have to make it through Robertson and Imbo, which I'm sure won't be too much of a problem. And then he has Jab, Harry Noir, and Esteban. Esteban and Harry Noir, I think, will be the hardest of the two to get through. But their soft tires are not going to be loving life, even in the next 6 laps. So we'll see how this pans out. And of course, the safety car is going to be in this lap. 3rd safety car of this race. Only 2 more before we max out. So we'll see what happens as we're going to be going on to lap number 20. There's going to be 13 laps of racing as we get down to the business side of things here in Imola.
Let's see where Ryan B goes. He waited long last time out, and I may have called off almost his teammate basically. Let's see if they can maybe coordinate that a little bit better this time out. I have to see if Sarunja is following through. I think Ryan B is already gone. Yes, he has, and he has called up his teammate again. Jordan is the second back from Sarunja. Sarunja is the one now looking towards the back of Ryan B. Can he get through? Don't think quite so. We have to look further back for the action. Jay Hings, Connor O'Keefe and T-Brum are going 3 wide down towards turn 2. And Connor O'Keefe makes it almost a double move side by side with T-Brum as he forces the Haas over the curbs, but the Haas does get through. Jay Hings is dropping down positions. Connor O'Keefe is trying to get back through on the Haas, but not quite down towards the Villeneuve chicane. It has to back out for P6, but quite a good bit of action as Sarunja is now looking towards the back of Ryan B for the lead as well. Can't quite get a run down towards Ferratella, I think, and has to back out from that. There's a bit of action going on between the Alfa Romeos and Harry Noir. It's one of the Alpines. Marcy's looking towards the outside of Jess. Jess goes defensive, switch back for the Alpine possibly. Sven Scott is round in the meantime as well for Ferratella. It's a lot of action, as you can hear of my voice, going on. Sarunja is hunting the back of the Mercedes down of Ryan B. Very difficult as Marcy gets through on Jess down towards the Variante Alta chicane, and that looks like a very decent move. Cleanly through for the Alpine. The soft runners are right in behind as Harry Noir moves towards the outside of Jess. A little bit of weaving going on, but just about fine as he backs out of that one. And now Steeman is looking towards the inside. Now Harry Noir is the one getting through, and Jess now through Ravazza too. Steeman is now looking towards the exit to see if he can get past the Ferrari of Jess as she kind of makes a bit of contact there. Jav is now looking to get through as well, following his teammate, and they both get through on the Ferrari. Jess has to concede a few positions there, and should be looking to maybe get that back up later on in the race as the softs might fall off a little bit.
Yeah, the soft runners are already making their way through the field. Their next target is going to be Marcy. Harry Noir only a second back from the Alpine driver. 14 laps.
Oh, Sarunja. Make a big mistake.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a drive around. That's smart. Oh no. The veterans of Eloise, their hearts fall into the abyss as he spins around at Toza, and that was from P4 as well. Really unfortunate there for Mark, an unfortunate mistake. But now Sarunja with his mistake at Toza.
Energetics. Woof. He's looking towards the inside of Fracra Minerale there. That was quite an interesting place to try and move it. He backed out at that last minute and decision, but now Ryan B did a mistake. If Sarunja is now going to clear, he's not dominating that much. I don't have to worry. Jaff is getting through on his teammate of Steban. Steban not looking too comfortable. It's usually one that does have a lot of pace, but not quite getting there. 2 seconds gap between Ryan B and Sarunja now, and Jordan will be hunting the back to protect his teammate. Obviously, we'll have to see if he can. He doesn't look too quick right now, and not quick enough at least to challenge the Alpine for now. And Jay Hinks is leading the second trainer behind that.
Yeah, Jay Hinks doing a pretty decent job on the restart. Obviously, he didn't get his tires fired up
Oh,
the way he did would have liked to. T-Brum with a little bit of a mistake. Connor O'Keefe looking at the outside, but the Haas driver just going to fade onto the racing line just in front of the McLaren. Slams the door shut as they break into Toza. Damon also looking on the back of his teammate as they headed into the Ravazza, but lost a little bit of time. At least to me, it seems that Damon's been running the lowest wings of the two McLarens. There we go. Finally, as Stephen picks up the second time penalty behind his teammate Jab, who's found his way into 10th. I'm not really sure how he's done that, but yeah, Jab at 10th for the time being. Lap 22 as we head on to 23. Soon enough here, Damon with a little bit of a slide, and that's given a little bit of a gap to Connor O'Keefe, who's falling off the back of Steve, who's just trying to challenge Jordan. And when I say challenge Jordan, Jordan has literally almost no ERS. He's going to be theoretic just as they exit off Ravazza number 2. T-Brum with his ERS. He doesn't have much either, but he has ERS to give him that advantage as they head
and watch Connor O'Keefe.
Straight. Connor O'Keefe looking to the inside. Is he going to get boxed in? No, there's just a little bit of a gap. Ooh. Connor O'Keefe and T-Brum down to turn 2. And Connor O'Keefe gets turned in on once again, and he's off into the gravel, and that's going to be 2 places lost for Connor O'Keefe. Is he going to stay in front of Harry Noir? No, he's going to lose all 4 of those positions to Jab as well. He's down to 10th. Man, that's really unfortunate there for Connor O'Keefe. He's been giving no respect in this race at all.
Yeah, I have to say it's quite a difficult corner to go side by side. He's looking down the inside of Jab now, see if he can get through. Not quite, and that might allow Steeman for a run down towards Piratella, but not quite either. Yeah, it's a very difficult corner to go side by side through, and I think Connor O'Keefe was quite greedy on the brakes. He's looking towards the outside there. That is quite peculiar to see. He can't find a way through there. Maybe on the exit of Aqua Minerale, not quite either. So he has to stick him behind this train for now. Harry Noir did get through on Jay Hinks in the meantime, and he's making his way through on the softs. He'll be very quick. Watch out for that. In the meantime, Sarunja has caught back up to Ryan B, so he looks to be the quicker one of those. Connor O'Keefe looking towards the outside. Jaff just doesn't leave enough space there, and Connor O'Keefe just gets sent onto the grass, unfortunately, and that's another one of those instances where he's just not being left a lot of space, I have to say.
Yeah, he sent one at Toza earlier on in the race, got turned in on, didn't lose any positions, and then going into turn 2 there, as you mentioned, it's difficult to go side by side there, but it wasn't exactly ahead, but still didn't deserve to left. Absolutely no lost positions in there.
I just spun it.
And
Swift is right as well.
Well, that's going to be a safety car, I'd imagine. Safety car number 4?
No, you'll see that will not be a safety car.
Codemasters low.
That's not happening. As Energetics are just he's managed to keep that out of the wall, which is very impressive, but that's going to lose him a lot of time. He's just trying to make a 3-point turn, I think. Just about, and that brings us. Yeah, let's just say I was a little bit delayed, and this is making it very interesting, right? Because what are these guys going to do? Are they going to pit or are they going to not pit? I think Harry Noir is the one we have to keep an eye on, because I think this hard run is. I don't know. I feel like the top 4 should stay out. I think that's going to happen, but we don't know. Don't know if there's any rain coming. It's still a bit overcast. Ryan B goes in actually, and I think they're all going to go in. And they will go on to softs, surely. Just looking, Jordan's going in. Harry. Oh, he's going to try to make this soft last towards the end, so that's going to be very difficult to do. But worthwhile the gamble. James is making it hard. That'd be interesting. He's been clean so far. He's not been in any accidents, just kind of kept out of trouble. Finds it on to P2, but everyone in behind has some fresh softs. There's a bit holding up going on through the Alfa Romeo pit lane as well. No, it might cost a few drivers here and there. But yeah, there's an interesting strategy call from both Harry Noir and Jay Hinks.
Yeah, just taking track position over everything, and if anything, we'll see an Alpha Tower be a rear gunner for Red Bull. We've seen it in the past before, not maybe quite as blatant, but, well, not saying that there's any racing going on here, but it's quite peculiar. It's quite peculiar. Anyways, Jay Hinks following Harry Noir to get onto the race restart, but now Ryan B, after not having the greatest qualifying, it seems he has pretty decent race pace, but it seems that Sarunja just might have the advantage. He found himself in P3 for the time being on the track. He obviously has much better tires. I'm sure Harry Noir's tires will go pop eventually as we get to the end of this race, but he's also been on those for 3 safety car periods now, has Harry Noir, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially with James on what will be, I believe, 26 or 27 lap 1 cars to get to the end of the race.
It'll be very interesting to see if we can even keep those from popping, because even the hard, obviously depends on what kind of tire pressures you have, but if you aren't running that much tire pressure, you might struggle to make those towards the end. Not too sure about that. We'll have to see. And I mean, it's still been overcast. It's kind of the sun's glaring through the clouds. Not particularly anything more. As Steven has gone into the pits again. That's interesting because he was in a decent position.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why. He's done that. Maybe for some sort of front wing change. Yeah, front wing change for the Alfa Romeo.
That'll be it. Well,
yeah.
I don't know how he's lost his front wing, but maybe he did a similar thing to Harry Noir, he just didn't catch up to it as Ibo was just sped into the pit lane. But yeah, Steven's going to be all the way down into 16th, unfortunately, and he'll struggle to find himself into the points, although there's a few people with penalties. Might as well just run through that, as Ibo has 14 seconds of penalty, actually. But Jav, Roberts, Jamie and Steven all have 3-second time penalties, so that might set them back towards the end, as I think there might be 6 laps of racing going on. I'll have to see.
Yeah, we should get going. I wouldn't say on this one because Ibo would still have to close up to the pack, but maybe on the next lap we will get racing once again. But yeah, maybe just when he pit that last time, mechanics didn't get his front wing change, and good thing they didn't because I think he was in front of, was he in front of Jav? I guess it doesn't really matter because, well, if he was in front, Jav would have lost quite a bit of time if he was changing his front wing. So you don't really know, do you? But we should get going on this next lap. Quick update on Division 2. I believe it's been raining all race. And then Crico, Derry, Larkin, Kurt, and Ben JS are your top 5 right now. They're under safety car, as safety car's in this lap, actually. So we'll cut back to the action, and we'll look back to that maybe later. But Ibo has not cut up. Ibo's not cut up.
I think it's just going a bit late. So yeah. Steven and Olsko is trying to figure out who's supposed to be ahead. Harry Noirk is leading the grid. He is just about weaving. Let's see where he goes. He's leaving it late. Very late actually, as Ryan B is looking to get alongside. Sarunch is getting through there already. That might be a bit early, we'll have to see as he gets the position back. But Harry Noirk is clear for now, and there's a lot of action in behind. The cars are very close together. Ryan B is in third, and Sarunch, T-Brum, Damon. So a bit of contact in behind between a Ferrari and Alfa. Justin Jav going through side by side. Just comes ahead of Jav there. Ben Scott is looking towards Jordan as well. He's the only one on the mediums, forgot to mention that. But he might have some wing damage. It's quite a bit of action. Sarunch and Ryan B up ahead going side by side. Damon is getting through in T-Brum as well. Ryan B still side by side with Sarunch. I don't think the Alpine is going to be able to hang on, and Ryan B holds on into third. Trying to get switched back as there's a car around in the background as well. That was Steban, I think, and Robert is around as well. But these guys are very, very close together. This is going to be a very tight end towards the end of the race here, and it's going to be up to Harry Noirk. As Damon, I think, made a mistake. T-Brum got back through into 5th. Now, as he may have got a little bit too much over that curve. It's fine for now. Ryan B is looking towards the outside of Jay Hings. Those hards are not providing enough grip. And Ryan B is getting through. Sarunch is looking for it as well, but can't quite find his way through. And it's all lining up for Ryan B to win as of right now, but it's not over just yet. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, 5 laps to go. We're on to lap 28. Is Marcy? Ooh, he's out at the final corner. Is that going to be a safety car? I never really know.
Don't think so.
But down to
Sarunch
and Jay Hings around the outside goes the Alpine. He has to cut the corner as the Jay Hings didn't leave him much space. As we said earlier, it's difficult to go side by side there, but Jay Hings, in all of that, makes a mistake off of turn 4, and he's going to lose 3 positions there as they head onto that little straight in between the Villeneuve chicane and turn 4. Damon up to P4. He's almost onto the podium. Harry Noirk, though, up at the front, getting absolute pressure super hard by Ryan B. Jordan and Jay Hings going side by side. Now Jay Hings just dropping quick as ever through the field. He's down to P7. It's an Alpha Tower 7-8, but Ben's got a much better medium tires to his credit. Harry Noir and Ryan B heading through Aqua Minerale up the hill, across the middle sector, split on lap number 28, and they head into Variante Alta. Ryan B taking it careful, knowing that as long as he keeps it on the track, he should have this race win almost in his pocket, but he still has T-Brum just in behind him as they head down towards the Ravats. T-Brum looking, doesn't have the ERS to pull it off, and he's already pretty low, is the Haas driver. Just looking at ERS now, Harry Noir 40%, Ryan B has 50, as I think that Steven is crashed, but now
Ryan B's alongside.
The front, yeah, Ryan B's going to be side by side with Harry Noir, no DRS to help anybody out. T-Brum looking to the inside, is he going to try and do it again? Is he going to make it 3 wide? Damon's making it 2 by 2.
Damon is there.
In the background, the Haas and the McLaren go side by side, but the Mercedes is in front of the Red Bull. Where have we seen that before in Formula 1? Oh, Red Bull, that's Damon's front wing that's going to be gone. He's been almost brake checked. I think Harry Noir was just trying to keep his car on the track, but he's going to be absolutely fuming with that. But now, T-Brum, as they head through the Villeneuve chicane, has a 3-second penalty, but now Saronja getting involved with this as well. He's made up 2 positions in 2 corners.
Yeah, T-Brum got the penalty himself, so he's not going to be able to get through as Energetics is out through the Villeneuve chicane. Damon get through Harry Noir, and Harry Noir just squeezed into the grass and spun round, and that leaves him round and just looking for points. Steven is out as well at the Villeneuve chicane, so he's catching a lot of people out, and we have a safety car. Harry Noir has been disqualified for going the wrong way. He's trying to recover his car, and these last laps have just been so wild. It's turned on its head the whole race, and at this point there's only 13 drivers left. I have to see. You finish, you basically get points at this point.
Yeah, well, welcome to Division 4. I'm sure you're enjoying yourself quite a bit. Getting down to the end of this race. We're on lap 29, about to be 30, so we will go racing at the end of this lap, I believe. So only 1 lap for safety car. So anyone with wing damage or anything is just gonna have to stay out and endure whatever
right now, maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna. I don't think they might just make it if you pit right at the back between Jav and Robert. But if anything, they just stay out.
Yeah, they're both coming in at the back, Jaff and Robert.
Yeah, I mean both of them have penalties either way, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But just a quick recap before we go racing once again here in Division 4. Ryan B leads T-Brum, leads Jerome J and Damon, but have to remember, Damon just picked up damage off the back of Harry Noir coming out of the Villeneuve chicane. Ben's got, Villeneuve chicane. Ben's got P5, Ariel Jordan in P6, almost collected Harry Noir at the top of the hill over here. And then JD's P7 still on those hard tires. I thought he would have dropped a little bit further. He's going to have to start putting some energy into those tires if he wants to keep them warmed up. Even though we are going racing at the end of this lap. Jess in P8 with no penalties, of course. Jamie P9. Old School is in P10, currently at P9 with penalties. So this will be him
P8.
this will be him scoring points for the first time. And then Ibo is at 11th, and then Jav and Roberts I'm looking to catch up, but I don't think they will because it should be safety car in this lap. Yep, safety car in this lap.
Yeah, and there'll be limiters. Unfortunately, that pit limiter is gonna, the safety car limiter, I should say, is gonna be continuing on even for them. Yeah, I've seen it done differently before, so that's good for them. Maybe they can get their way through, as Ibo still has a lot of penalties as well, we have to remember, so they might catch up through that point. As Jav has got a 3-second time penalty, trying to speed there. Ryan B is just trying to get the best point possible so he doesn't get under pressure from T-Brum too much. Let's see, he's weaving. Has he gone? He has gone just about there. T-Brum has will wait though, and he's trying to get through. Ben Scott's looking at Damon, as Jordan is looking at it as well, but it's Ryan B leading T-Brum, leading Saruncha, and I don't think there's any particular move down into the top 6. It's just filing through one by one, and it is just staying like that. As I just saw Jordan go round, and Jay Hinks as well. I think all of them through, and this promotes Ibo currently into 7th, although he has a lot of penalties. T-Brum is just looking onto the back of the Mercedes, but obviously he does have the penalty, but he will try and get as much time as he can to obviously get a better position he can, obviously. He's already in an FP5, also goes into P6, so he'll be happy with that for now. But yeah, bit of an accident there, so it's just going around again. That's very important for And she was looking on for a decent point finish. The top three have broken away a little bit from Damon, who had that wing damage, obviously. Let's see if T-Brum can maybe... If Damon loses enough time, T-Brum could maybe get a podium as he's alongside Ryan B now. Can he get through? Not quite. Osko picking up a time penalty. Sarunchi is looking towards the back as well. Sarunchi is still looking to pick up this win. If he has enough straight line speed, he could maybe challenge Ryan B here. But Ryan B has a pretty good exit, you have to say. Going on to the final lap, let's see how this pans out. As T-Brum, as Osko, I think, has spun as well as Ravazza Wombo. Looking at the front of the grid, T-Brum looking towards the outside of Tamburello. Not quite able to get through. Hits the back of the Mercedes, forces him across the curb. T-Brum around the outside, gets through, and now it's brought Sarunchi and Damon into this. Let's see, it's Ryan B still forcing his way through, actually. Still side by side between the two of them. Sarunchi now gets through. Damon is looking towards the back of the Alpine. Not quite possible to get through there. For now, let's see, Sarunchi's now to the back of Ryan B, down towards Piratella, surely not towards the outside. If he makes that one stick, that would be immense. Not quite, I think Ryan B just about hangs on. He has to try another spot as T-Brum has now got back alongside the Alpine. Damon's not able to get through. Let's see, down towards the Variante Alta. Can Sarunchi maybe try and get a move done down the inside? Be a very tight one to make through as there's a lot of contact. Ryan B across the chicane, and that's a 3-second time penalty for him as they both collect each other. And this is going to promote Ben Scott as Damon is also collected. Ben Scott is now going to be leading and winning this race, I think. Jav is now into the podium position. What has happened here?
What has happened on the final lap here at Imola? It's round number 2 of Division 4. It looks like T-Brum's going to come home to collect his second podium of the season. It's not going to be the win. It's going to be the win, though, for Ben Scott, Division 5 promotee, of course. T-Brum will finish second with that 3-second penalty. And Damon, even with all of that, will find his way onto the podium with no penalties. Jav, with that 3-second penalty that he picked up on the second to the last lap of the race, will finish in 4th. We're so very close to the podium for Jav. That would have been amazing. I'm sure he would have loved that. Robertson has somehow found his way to 5th, even though he was last on the race. Jay Hings is on 27 lap. Old Hard in his 6th. Jordan with that spin on the final lap, or the penultimate lap, in P7. Saron J P8 from 2nd on the track at the beginning of the final lap. Jamie in 9th. Ryan B will be absolutely heartbroken. Saron J forced to move into Variante Alta. He got forced across the grass and then spun of his own accord, and it now finishes P10. Only half a second in front of Ibo at the end of the race in P11. That is not what Ryan B wanted from that final lap, but Ben Scott wins here in Imola.
I'm still trying to process what just happened. That was just... yeah, I have no words for that, honestly. Ben Scott did well to just avoid everything there, but yeah, a very audacious move from Sarunchi just causes him and Ryan beats his spin, and Damon get collected that, unfortunately, as well. And yeah, unbelievable scenes, to be honest. I come here for one race and commentate, and this has happened. I should do this more often, or maybe not, because the drivers have some things to go. But yeah, let's run us through the result. As Ben Scott takes up the win ahead of T-Brum, is driven fantastically, you have to say. Damon in 3rd, and then Jav with 7 stops from the back of the grid. That's made his way into P4. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Robertson has finished in P5, and Jay Hings in 6th. Jordan is 7th. Sarunchi in 8th after that last lap collision. Jamie Met in 9th. Ryan B closing at the top 10. Then Ibo gets 2 points for his trouble, and Osko gets 1 point as he had a few spins at the end, I think. Not sure what happened because there was a lot going on. Jess, the only one actually finishing the race outside the points, unfortunately. Steban Energetics, they will still get classified, I think, just about, as they said +4 laps, as Marcy Swip, Conor O'Keefe, Polypus, and Harry Noir, who got disqualified, actually. They all DNF, didn't make the line, and yeah, what a conclusion to an exhilarating race, but I wouldn't call that one of the greatest ever, but yeah, it was very entertaining, I have to say.
I would say that is a very DTS-worthy race, if anything. So, yeah, second round of Division 4, and we already have some controversy. I'm sure Eloise Stewart will have a big plate of penalties on his hands to hand out to most drivers in Division 4. But I have to get going, so no interviews this week. I already alerted Division 4 hours ago, so they should know not to be asking for a party invite. But I would like to thank you, VR Verstappen, for joining me, because I think I would have died halfway through that race if I had to commentate alone. So thank you very much for joining me this week. And I guess we'll see you next week. I'm not sure. I think it's Kota. We head to America for 2 rounds.
Sprint race as well.
Yes, first sprint race in LOE history as well. Well, besides F2, of course, but on the F1 calendar, first sprint race at the Circuit of the Americas, and then the week after that, we head to Miami, first new circuit on the calendar. So yeah, it's going to be exciting these next 2 weeks, and then of course Monza after that. So we'll get some more chaos there. But anyways, thank you from myself and from Muir, and we'll see you next time.